On the news tonight, prices of cooking gas dropped nominally despite claims of downward trend in tariff. Court reinstates former Zamfara deputy governor 16 months after impeachment. British government expresses confidence in reforms of President Bola Tinubu. And from the foreign scene, 4 persons died after New York electronic bike shop catches fire.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on the news tonight. My name is Timile Falade. Reactions have trailed recent claims of a substantial drop in the price of liquefied petroleum gas, also known as cooking gas. It was widely circulated that price of the product trended downward for as low as 350 naira per kg. Our reporter Joy Pius was on the fact-finding mission to ascertain the price situation of a product in Akure metropolis. The report.
Nigeria witnessed a democratic transition on May 29, accompanied by the removal of fuel subsidy. The pump price of petrol immediately shot up, raising concerns on what will be government's move to palliate the masses. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited revealed a plan by President Bola Tinubu to begin putting in place a structural approach to make available cheap fuel through compressed natural gas and liquefied natural gas to mitigate the effects of the subsidy removal on Nigerians. Weeks later, the social media was awash with the news that the price of liquefied petroleum gas, also known as cooking gas, had dropped across Nigeria, with claims that the product sold as low as 350 naira per kg. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the price of 5 kg cylinder of cooking gas rose by 22% to 4,610 naira 48 kobo in March 2023, same as 922 naira per kg. Osrc was in town to ascertain the price situation in Akure metropolis, and findings showed that it hovers between 560 and 650 naira, as against what was being circulated. Consumers who spoke with Osrc attested to the reduction in the price from what it used to be a few months ago. They, however, said there is no much difference.
It's like recently now, the one I bought this one, I bought it at the rate of 620.
ní nǹkan bíi May àbẹ̀ṣe rà ní 750 yẹn lára throughout gbà tó wá da June yìí báyìí wọ́n tà fún wa ní 650 from 650 to 620.
mi ì rí ní 350 rumors làwọn èèyàn kàn ń gbé pé wọ́n ń tà ní 350 mi ì tí ì rí ibi tán ti ń tà ní 350. ìgbà tá à ń ra tẹ́lẹ̀ yẹn a lè rà ní 750 a lè rà ní 700 ó ṣẹ̀ já sí 620 nsìn náà ni.
Some attendants at different gas stations visited confirmed a reduction but insisted no gas plant sells for 350 naira.
What I'm just hearing outside is rumors. Some people they will say they bought from social gas plant 350, and which is not true.
Fuel is coming down, but it's not as maybe we are selling, anybody selling 300 naira recently. Everybody, like maybe some month ago, we are selling 728, but now, presently now, we are now selling 560. So maybe gradually price will be dropping. It depends on the price they sell from depot.
According to a marketer of the product, Francis Okala, unlike petrol, cooking gas is not subsidized by the government. This means that the price of cooking gas is majorly determined by market forces.
Gas is a fully deregulated market. It's not like PMS that is regulated, that they are now removing the subsidy. So gas is ruled by the forces of demand and supply. So there is nothing like a proposed decrease. Though the effect of the Tinubu administration, the current administration, in trying to make the economy to grow could affect the prices of gas. But then, when demand is higher than supply, the price will go up. But when supply is higher than demand, the price will come down.
The Executive Secretary, Nigerian Association of Liquefied Petroleum Gas Marketers, Mr. Basi Essien, had said the source of LPG for some time now had been predominantly from Nigeria liquefied natural gas and has never met the demands due to the supply-demand gap in market dynamics, which works in concert to affect the price. Experts are of the view that affordable cooking gas will cushion the effect of high cost of petrol, but advocates more exploration, which according to them will significantly improve supply and crash the price. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
Residents across the 18 local government areas of Ondo State have been urged to complete the vaccination process and be free from affliction from diseases like tuberculosis, measles, and COVID-19, which have been declared as still existing. Permanent Secretary, Ondo State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Francis Akombiemu, made the call at a stakeholders meeting on primary healthcare services held in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Akombiemu was represented by the agency's Director, Community Health Services and Education, Dr. Samuel Abiono, said the meeting was to update stakeholders on routine immunization and COVID-19 vaccination. The State Immunization Officer, Mrs. Comfort Olagundoye, while giving an update on routine immunization and COVID-19 vaccination, said people, particularly those at the communities, should be sensitized more on completion of the children's immunization dosages, which is stated has extended to 15 and 23 months, depending on the dosage as against the former 9 months. Olagundoye further expressed challenges facing the agencies on immunization fatigue on the part of caregivers and nonchalant attitude of caregivers, calling on stakeholders to encourage caregivers to ensure that children get the complete vaccination. The Corps Commander, Corridor 1 of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Hosseini Hamzat, has lamented the conduct of certain motorists, including commercial drivers and motorcades, plying the traffic-laden Lagos-Ibadan Expressway amid ongoing repairs. Hamzat attributed much of the bottlenecks that worsen the traffic situation to errant drivers on the wrong side of the road, driving in lanes facing oncoming traffic. The Corps Commander noted that the traffic congestion is not entirely about poor traffic management, but due to the attitude exhibited by road users. He admitted that the bottlenecks were respected due to the ongoing construction, adding that patience was imperative for drivers to navigate certain portions of the road. FRSC on Sunday announced a fresh traffic diversion on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway due to ongoing reconstruction work. In preparation for the commemoration of this year's International Widows' Day, the federal government has tasked all partners to take proactive steps towards giving support to widows. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Monilola Udo, who stated this, said, "Widows equally contribute immensely to Nigeria's economy, hence deserve all the support required to better their lot." The 2023 International Widows' Day has the theme Innovation and Technology, Gender Equality, which emphasizes technological knowledge has been important for anyone hoping to grab the best of the opportunities in today's world. Udo said the hope of the United Nations, which brought out the theme, is seeking to help widows to realize the fact that technological knowledge is an underlying success at grabbing opportunities that are available in the world today. The 18th edition of International Widows' Day will be celebrated on Friday, the 23rd. And now the Women in Mining Nigeria has canvassed strategic rights to end gender and child abuse in the mining sector. They also reiterate their commitment to ensure that the mining space in Nigeria is open and safe for all women, both professionals and artisans who have found their passion in mining. President of Women, Janet Adeyemi, said the women in mining Nigeria will stop at nothing to achieve the eradication of gender abuse in Nigeria's mining sector. She lamented that women are often excluded from decision-making processes and leadership positions in the mining sector, including involvement and representation. Adeyemi expressed the group's intention to leverage on partnerships both locally and internationally to address the issues affecting women and children in the mining sector. You're still watching Osrc News at 7. We'll take a quick break now. More stories continues shortly. Do stay with us.
Who wants to tell me the answer? Good. This way.
I give my soul. You get my time and dedication.
Hey, stop that.
You know, get waiting for life. Where I know fit do. Cause all the dream where we don't dream must to come true. It must to show for you. Cause it's sure for me. Together we will ride against the mountains away. So make you dare with me. Cause I dare for you. Together we will ride against the mountains away.
Teach the advanced way with Glow LTE Advanced, the power of 3 data networks in one. Get a Glow SIM or dial *301#.
Abwad Multi-System Hospital at Adó-Èkìtì, best equipped hospital in sub-Saharan Africa, offers the following services at the main hospital and the annexes at Bashuri and Odoado in Adó-Èkìtì. Free antenatal registration and consultation for all pregnant women. Free registration, consultation and immunization for children under 5 years. Other services at discounted rate include open heart surgeries, dialysis and kidney transplant, brain, spine and total joint replacement surgeries, correction of deformities, full range dental procedures, out and in-patient services, cutting-edge MRI and CT scans. For further inquiries, call 081-601-60011, 080-601-86037. Announcer, Chief Medical Director.
Abwad, a vision in action.
Glad to have you back. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook Osrc TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. A federal high court sitting in Abuja has given an order restoring Mahdi Gusau as the deputy governor of Zamfara following his impeachment by the state's House of Assembly on February 23, 2022. In spite of a subsisting court order, Justice Ian Eko, in a judgment, also set aside all the steps and actions taken by the House of Assembly and former Governor Bello Matawalle and the state's chief judge in the purported impeachment of Gusau during the pendency of the suit in court. Justice Eko, who held that the acts of the then Assembly Speaker, ex-governor, chief judge, and indeed others was an aberration and cannot be allowed to stand, described these as null and void and of no effect whatsoever. The judge also held that contrary to the argument of counsel to 5th to 28th defendants, he did not see any of the judicial authority cited and relied upon by the lawyer that authorizes any litigant to take extrajudicial action when a case was pending in court. Mr. Matawalle, the 3 state senators, members of the House of Representatives and that of House of Assembly, had all defected from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to All Progressives Congress (APC) on June 29, 2021. Another federal high court sitting in Abuja has fixed July 20 for judgment in a suit brought by Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra (IPOB), seeking to access his medical records and medical doctor for second opinion on his health. Justice Binta Nyako fixed the date after Kanu's counsel, Mike Ozekome, and counsel for the Department of State Services, A.M. Danladi, adopted the processes and presented the arguments for and against the suit. Osrc adopted his process in an application of magnanimous to compel the DSS to allow Kanu unhindered access to his medical doctor, among others, but counsel for DSS, Danlami, opposed the application, stating that records should show Kanu is clinically stable. He urged the court to discountenance Kanu's application for the sake of justice and national security. President Bola Tinubu has exempted the boards of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control from dissolution. The president had on Monday announced the dissolution of boards of federal government, parastatals, agencies, institutions, and government-owned companies. However, the Director of Information, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Willie Bassi, said NAFDAC and NDLEA would not be affected by the president's directive. No reason was given for the decision. Governor of Kano State, Alhaji Kabir Yusuf, has directed all the 19 commissioner nominees to comply with Code of Conduct rules. The governor, in a brief communique, vowed that no commissioner nominee will be sworn in as cabinet member without filling the asset declaration form from the Code of Conduct Bureau. Governor Kabir Yusuf reiterated his commitment to people of Kano State, noting that transparency and accountability remain the basic principles of his administration, which will be applied to champion good governance as promised in his blueprint during the electioneering campaign. The governor's comments come a day after he vowed to publish the names of individuals who allegedly received illegal land allocations from former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje at the Kano Polytechnic. Enugu State government plans to mark over 100,000 hectares of land to boost cassava production for export. This is even as the federal government has expressed the desire to collaborate with the state government on agriculture. Governor Peter Mba, who disclosed this during a courtesy visit to his office by a delegation of the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, said his administration had already identified agriculture as one of the productivity sectors that would drive development and growth in the state. He said the value chain that would generate revenue for the people, such as cassava flour, cassava cake, cassava chips, among others, would be created from cassava production. The United Nations has donated $20 million to help address challenges of food security and nutrition in northeast Nigeria. The Public Information United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs in Nigeria and WERU disclosed the donation in Abuja. WERU said the fund support was from the Central Response Fund and the Nigeria Humanitarian Fund. UN Resident Representative in Nigeria, Matthias Male, noted that urgent funding is needed to protect the lives and future of vulnerable children in the northeast region. He added that governments, donors, and the international community must make urgent funding available to protect the lives and future of vulnerable children in northeast Nigeria. The British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Richard Montgomery, says that ministers and businesses in the United Kingdom are responding very positively to the first policies of the President Bola Tinubu administration, including fuel subsidy removal and unification of foreign exchange rates. The British High Commissioner stated this after he met with Vice President Kashim Shettima at the State House, Abuja. In a chat with State House correspondents, the British High Commissioner said the meeting with the Nigerian Vice President was fruitful, as it focused on how to ramp up bilateral relations between the two countries, particularly in the area of boosting economic engagement. He said he discussed with Shettima on the measures to cushion the effect of the president's first policies like subsidy removal. Montgomery expressed confidence that the reforms of the new administrations in Nigeria will help place the country on a greater path. In the meantime, the United Kingdom has announced its readiness to cut tariffs on products from Nigeria and other developing countries. According to the British High Commission, the step was to restore trading rules, save businesses and consumers millions of pounds a year. This came following the country's new post-Brexit developing countries trading scheme, covering not less than 60 nations and commencing action today. The scheme removes or reduces tariffs and simplifies trading rules so that more products qualify for the scheme, making it more generous than the EU scheme the UK was previously a member of. UK Deputy British High Commissioner Ben Llewellyn-Jones said Nigeria is one of UK's most important partners in Africa and that the UK government is committed to doing more business with the country. Education has been described as an instrument for national and social reconstruction through which society can change for the better. These were the words of a guest speaker and other stakeholders at Night of Awards and lecture of Southwest Herald's magazine held in Akure. The event was also an avenue to honor some distinguished personality in various fields of endeavor, including a staff member of Osrc Media Group, Omoshilola Adesoye. The report.
The level at which education, which is an instrument for effective national development in Nigeria, has become a tool for destruction, is becoming more worrisome. This was the reason Southwest Herald magazine gathered stakeholders in the education business, including parents, to chart the way forward on how education will help in further developing Nigeria. Delivering a lecture titled Applied Education as a Tool for Nigeria Development, the guest speaker, Professor Busuyi Mekusi, opined that only quality education can eradicate poverty and ignorance if stakeholders are ready to play their part.
Education performs certain roles, apart from the fact that it helps an individual to acquire knowledge, acquire skills, and also help in the process of cultural production and sustenance. Or social engineering.
Also, at the event, eminent personalities were honored for their contributions to the development of society in their various fields of professionalism. And in recognition of her commitment to excellence and hard work, Osrc staff and recipients of many accolades, Omoshilola Adesoye was honored with the award of Outstanding Reporter and Presenter of Year 2023 by Southwest Herald magazine.
Television across Nigeria.
The convener and publisher, Southwest Herald magazine, Oluwatayo Adu, said the awardees were carefully selected based on their enviable track records that had made positive impact in their chosen profession.
It is our expectation that this award will further spur you and the public to always show better dedication, transparent, integrity and consistency in making our society a better place.
Some of the awardees, while expressing gratitude to the organizers, said the award will spur them and serve as motivation to encourage them to do better for society.
It is God's own arrangement. So we give God all the glory for today, for the honor done us.
I thank God Almighty for this honor. I thank Herald News Magazine for choosing me as one of the awardees today. And I want to say that I dedicate this award to the entire newsroom of Osrc and as well as the media group at large.
Some of the other awardees are the chairman, Nigeria Union of Journalists, Ondo State Council, Leke Adegbite, Registrar, Elizabeth University, Omololu Adegbinro, and Permanent Secretary, Ondo State Ministry of Finance, Jide Ekpobomini. Omoriola Hungbeji, Osrc News.
4 people have been reportedly killed in a smoky fire that broke out in the Lower East Side bike shop in Manhattan, New York. Officials say the victims who died in the fire were 2 men and 2 women. They also disclosed that the victims were taken to local hospitals.
All right, good morning. We're standing here in front of 80 Madison Avenue. A call came in this morning a little after midnight for an odor of smoke and fire in the building you see behind me. Unfortunately, there were 6 critical injuries of residents that were pulled out of this fire. 4 of them have passed away. As you can see to my left, it is very clear that this was caused by lithium-ion batteries and e-bikes. There was a very large number of both batteries and e-bikes. This location is known to the fire department. We have written violations at this location before, and we have conducted enforcement in this location before. So as of today, including this fire, we have 108 related to lithium-ion batteries and 13 fatalities. That is significantly higher than last year. I believe we were at 2 as of this time last year, 2. We have to make sure we're getting the word out about how dangerous these unregulated bikes are and the fact that they are here already in the city. What I would say, though, is it really is an explosion more so than it is a smoldering fire, as you would often think. And so you see the volume of fire that occurs immediately upon explosion. It can make it impossible in that moment. You often hear us say that early warning is the best way to save yourselves from a fire. That is not the case in e-bikes. There's so much fire created that it can often be too late as soon as the fire has begun. And of course, in a case like this one where there's multiple bikes or multiple batteries, that's even more true.
Israeli commanders have killed 3 Palestinians, including a teenager, during an unusually fierce clash in the occupied West Bank, in which a military helicopter carried out the airstrike. 7 Israeli personnel were injured in fighting in Jenin that unfolded as troops raided the flashpoint town to arrest Palestinians suspected in attacks and came under fire from gunmen. Akintunde Akishemola has the detail.
Israeli commandos backed by helicopter gunships killed at least 5 Palestinians, including a teenager, during an unusually fierce clash in the occupied West Bank. This group of Palestinian journalists were caught in the crossfire but later evacuated by ambulance. 1 was shot in the waist. Troops raided the flashpoint town of Jenin to arrest Palestinians suspected of attacks and came under fire from gunmen. This is an explosion enveloping an armored troop transport as shots ring out. At least 7 Israeli military personnel were injured. In a rear strike by helicopter that showed the severity of the fighting, an Apache fired on an open area to drive back gunmen as casualties were brought out of the troop transport. Under heavy fire, the army was forced to mount an extraction mission to pull out a number of its vehicles trapped in the fighting. The Palestinian Health Ministry said at least 66 Palestinians were injured in the clashes. Yusuf Sakar's 15-year-old son, Ahmed, was killed.
He was decent, polite and respectful. But his problem was that the moment the army raided, he ran towards them. He wanted to after his friend Omar was killed. The death of his friend Omar was very painful for him.
At least 2 of the dead belonged to Islamic Jihad. The army group said Israel's use of aircraft, quote, will push our fighters to use tools that will surprise the enemy. Hamas said its fighters also took part in the clashes. And an official from the Fatah party said fighters from nearby cities had arrived in Jenin to support the local gunmen. Jenin and other areas of the northern West Bank have been a focus of months of stepped-up raids by Israel amid a spate of Palestinian street attacks in its cities. Akintunde Akinshemola, Voice House News.
And before we go on the news tonight, let's take another look at the major stories. Prices of cooking gas have dropped slightly in other states despite claims of a downward trend in tariffs. We informed you that the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has given an order restoring Mahdi Gusau as Deputy Governor of Zamfara following his impeachment by the State House of Assembly in February last year in spite of a subsisting court order. We brought to you that the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Richard Montgomery, says ministers and businesses in the United Kingdom are satisfied with the first policies of the President Bola Tinubu administration. And finally, you heard that 4 persons have been killed in a smoky fire that broke out in a Lower East Side bike shop in Manhattan, New York. And that's the news. Thank you so much for watching. I am Timileyin Falade. Good night.